Note block machines have been around since the dawn of time. They're a cornerstone of the Minecraft community and they kinda suck. Like, don't get me wrong, these are really cool, but allow me to go through a list of the few caveats that these machines do have in their current form. They take up a lot of space, you need to constantly travel to hear them, and they're expensive. If your machine takes 9,000 note blocks to make, each note block takes 8 planks, that is math. Math equals big numbers equals bad. I found a way of fixing all of these problems, and while it may cause a few more, it's a really cool way of making note block machines that I don't see many people talking about. It started when I found this machine made by Gavantino. It's a massive loaf of bread that houses a music looping mechanism. Here's how it actually works. Inside of the loaf, each instrument has its own separate track. All of these tracks are hooked up to the timing clock. The levers at the front make and break the connection to the clock. This makes it so the loop can't activate, which allows you to toggle the instruments as you please. It's a pretty simple yet genius build. This got me thinking, if I could automate these levers, I could make a whole song. If you think about it, songs reuse a lot of the same parts repeatedly, so rebuilding them every time is a big waste of resources. Also, you don't have to travel to hear the music, and it takes up a fraction of the space. So how do we code a whole song without needing to make a giant computer? There's a few ways, but I'm going to be using a feed tape. It's a simple mechanism that cycles blocks in a circle. Using a transparent block that Redstone can't pass through, we can code different parts of the loop to be powered. Using multiple feed tapes, we can program different outputs. This creates a rotating drum, which is seen in many mechanical contraptions throughout history as an easy way of storing and reading programmed data. So in 2022, I worked on the perfect note block machine. Okay, so version 1 isn't the prettiest, but it has everything you need. This massive timing clock hooks up to the clock signal bus, which is a redstone line that connects to all of the note block loops. Any loop that isn't supposed to play will get its signal cut off. This is determined by the feed tape. Once the line is powered, any loop that's connected to the clock signal will trigger. There's also a separate mode for powering the loops individually, similar to Gavantino's design. This design has a lot of problems, and it was very limited, but it set the base for what I'd make next. With some broken headphones and less messy wiring, I created version 2. The components are closer together, leading to cleaner wiring, it has a reworked clock, and it's easier to use. However, I still wasn't satisfied. Half of the note block lines were built underground, which feels so janky, and the design itself was still pretty limited. At least it sounded alright though. About a year later, I came back to the design and wanted to put my improved skills to the test. I wanted this new design to be bigger, better, and more modular than the previous ones. I realized I was getting a few things wrong. The biggest limitation was the amount of tracks. On the old designs, it's limited to 15 due to signal strength, which can be easily fixed. To do this, we need to use a component to increase the signal, but that comes with delay, so I delayed the note blocks themselves to compensate. The other issue is space. Cramming all of these note blocks together is going to be tricky, so I used pistons to activate each track so I can stack them on top of each other. Finally, waiting for the song to restart every time while I was coding the loop gets really tedious, so I was inspired to put a circuit in that quickly cycles back to the start of the song. As for the song itself, I wanted to try something bigger and I knew just the song to choose. A nostalgic early 2000s sleeper hit that I had on loop at the time. I just liked the song. Adding some finishing touches and final features, I can confidently say that this is the most complex redstone machine that I've ever made. The machine works so well, and I'm really proud of it. The full song uses 21 tracks and a total of 728 note blocks. If I made this machine in the traditional way, it would take over 4,000 note blocks. My goal throughout this entire project has been modularity, and there is an issue. Remember when I said this? To do this, we need to use a component to increase the signal, but that comes with delay, so I delayed the note blocks themselves to compensate. This means for every section added, I need to delay the tracks more and more, and I want this to be very expandable, so I need to figure out a better solution. Enter instant repeaters. These are little gizmos that allow for functionality of a repeater with no delay. Instead of activating the signal sequentially from the beginning, a separate line within the drum instantly transmits the signal throughout the clock signal bus so that each loop gets powered in parallel. Fixing this issue makes the music play faster and tighter than ever and allows for more channels. Now it's time to make a different song using the same machine to put its modularity to the test. You may be asking, what's the point of saving over 80% of the resources if I'm just gonna build this in creative? It is rare to see a whole note block song in survival because of how expensive, time-consuming, and large they are. This machine can change that, and I should prove it. So, let's jump into super fast build mode and build ourselves a note block machine. They gave me a copyright claim for that, by the way. Now, I'd like to mention, I'm not the first person to make a design like this. I later found out there's some talented creators that beat me to it. Like this one that uses some sort of magical signal strength decoding box to program their song. I'd say my machine improves in a few regards, mainly control, modularity, and form factor. Plus, this machine includes both the program and the manual levers. If you would like to try out the machine for yourself or make your own song, the download is in my Discord server. Feel free to chat there and ask questions. I'll be there. The join link is in the description right under the like and subscribe. And one last thing, if you want to listen to the full songs, they're on my second channel, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Ooh, you want to subscribe so bad, you want to subscribe.